Hello and welcome back to the Women's Rugby Show. I'm Sam, by the way, and today we're going to be taking a look at what's actually happened since we've been away. Because it's been a long old time. It was the 14th of December since you last saw us, and all sorts has happened since then. I've gone blonde, I'm the new host of the Women's Rugby Show, and more importantly, lots has happened in the Women's Rugby game. Simi Pam did this, Exeter Chiefs Women did this, and we've got a new Six Nations format. Plus, all sorts of other news headlines happened in the women's rugby. But before we get on with looking at everything, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the Women's Rugby Show on YouTube, and follow us across all social medias. Now let's get on with the video and see what actually has happened since we've been away. And where better to start than one of the try of the season contenders so far? I don't think anything's going to beat this, with Simi Pam of Bristol Bears women running in from near enough 80 metres to score against Sale Sharks. The try that Pam scored shows she's one of the most skillful and most exciting loosehead props in England, and it can't be long before that Red Roses call-up comes. The try brought worldwide attention, 121k plus video views, as well as a tweet from the beast, Tendai Mtawawira, the South African front row legend. Pam's try showed the world the high quality of skill in the Premier 15s to a huge audience, and let's hope that that try, as well as all the others scored in the Premier 15s, brings in that young audience and future audience to the Premier 15s and to the women's game in the UK. Talking of bringing crowds in, Exeter Chiefs women broke 2 winning streaks in a matter of 2 weeks, first beating Saracens, who hadn't lost since 2018, with tries from Poppy Leach, Kate Zachary and debutant Rachel Johnson defeating the Saracens, who last lost to Harlequins. And then Exeter went on to beat Harlequins the next week with a try from Canadian McKinley Hunt, defeating the Quins, who were unbeaten all season. These 2 wins for the Chiefs shows just how much they've grown in their first season, and it's exciting not just for the wider audience in the UK, but also the local audience down in Devon, down in Cornwall, just to show that women's rugby is a viable option for all those young women's rugby players down there. And it's so exciting to see the levels they can reach in the coming season, and let's hope they'll be able to start competing to the levels of the Quins, the Saracens and the Loughborough Lightnings. Moving on finally to the Six Nations, and we've got a new format this year, where it's going to be a bit like the Men's Autumn Nations Cup. In one pool we've got England, Italy and Scotland, and Ireland, Wales and France in the other. And obviously with the winner meeting in the final, the winner of A meeting the winner of B at the home of winner of A. Obviously the likelihood of this, with the format all teams are being in, is likely to be an England against France final, but who knows. But a lot of focus on the games is going to be a good thing, with it being played outside of the men's window. It's going to be exciting to see what the women can produce. Hopefully it's done on a wider scale and everyone can watch it and enjoy and see the skill levels these women possess. Obviously on the other hand, there's going to be less games, less opportunities to show your skill, show your desire to play for the nation, but I think it can only be a good thing to be playing it outside of the men's window. Obviously there's been a lot of other stories as well. Steph Evans' great work with the I Care movement, Kim Oliver leaving Bristol Bears, as well as the launch of the Ultimate Rugby Sevens Girls Academy by the England Sevens women, who are unfortunately still without their contracts. And with all that's happening in the women's game, it's so good for me to be back working in the women's game, presenting the Women's Rugby Show, and I can't wait to get going again, starting this weekend at Gloucester Hartpury against Bristol Bears. I'm really excited to be there, really excited to be back watching the Premier 15s, and I'm excited to bring all of you watchers, all of you video listeners, and everything, all the content that you deserve to have in the women's rugby game, and it's so good to be back. But before you go, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the Women's Rugby Show on YouTube, and follow us across all social medias, and we'll see you again soon this weekend. Cheers, goodbye.